Hi and welcome to tutorial number 3 in the L8MS Thermotrends web application demonstrations. This one is involves us adding locations for the purpose of adding an asset, for the purpose of adding a test point in effect. So if you have permission to do so, or you're an administrator, you will have a list of available clients. They will have a little box here which says location, and we can indeed click on location, and there are no locations currently in here, so we can add a location. The details required for the location would be the location room. So in terms of a room, we can put in any form of identification. We'll have rear staff room for a bit of fun. The location will be on the ground floor, and this will be the first location in our list, and it's not retired. If you want to effectively make it so that the location is no longer active, you click the retired box, but obviously we're just setting it up. So for now we will hit save, and the new location is added. So we've got a rear staff room. Now in the rear staff room we then need to add the asset that we want to monitor, and we're going to add a new asset which comes from the list. So there's a standard list here to choose from, with quite a few items in there. So we're going to scroll down until we find something interesting, which is we're going to monitor a sink, I think, a Sentinel sink in the staff room. You can give that sink an asset name or an asset ID, just to be specific. We'll call it the kitchen sink, and if it had an asset ID we could put in an identification number or whatever else, and the numbers, or the number of items that there are, and what order we want it to be. Well, this is the first one, so we'll put it in as first. Again, we can retire this asset if we want to. Obviously we're just setting it up, so we don't want to retire it. And again, click save. So now we have a kitchen sink, and we want to start actually measuring temperatures at the kitchen sink, or set up iButtons to do so. We call these nodes. Nodes are like test points. Again, we don't have any nodes, so we would add a test point, and we could add the hot water supply to the sink. We could say that it's got a high limit of 60 degrees because we're worried about scalding, a low limit of say 50 degrees because that's what L8 says. We want rollover. Now these need a quick description. If I don't get back to the iButtons in time, I can either allow the routine to stop, in other words the button will keep monitoring results but it won't record them, or I can say roll over and start writing over the results that are at the beginning of the record list with the results that are coming in. So that's you get to choose whether it's a rollover. If you want the mission to start, you click the start mission box, and this will send the new mission, this new location, off to the engineer to start. If you want him to end the mission, it'd be a little obtuse if you were trying to do both, but if you have a running mission and you want it to end, you tick on end. And last but by no means least would be the frequency that you want monitoring. These are in minutes from 1 to 255. So if he was monitoring something daily, you'd probably go for 1. If he was doing weekly monitoring, you'd go for 5. And if he's doing monthly monitoring, you'd go for about half-hour intervals, 30 minutes. If you work it backwards, you'll discover that that fits into the 2000 or 2048 readings that an iButton can do before it needs to be before it needs its sample results collected. So there we go. There's a typical monthly routine to start now, to roll over if we don't get back to it in time, to take temperatures every 30 minutes on a hot water supply to our sink. So we can hit save. And that really is all there is to setting up the system, and that point now will be available to the engineer if he logs in using the engineering application to download and to set up an iButton, which will then allocate an iButton reference to it. So to go back out, all we do is close the ladder down that we've come in, and just to show you, we can go into the Thermotrends one. These are the locations in the Thermotrends, these are the assets in the Thermotrends, and these are the test points that are set up. And in this particular one, you can see the iButton references sitting in here. These are the unique codes that belong to each iButton, telling it which button is at work, and you can see the intervals there as well. Okay, so I hope that's sufficient. You can of course edit them, which is the same as putting in new ones. We can just change a mission frequency, or change it from rollover, or indeed say that we're now finished with this mission, we want to end it, which will tell the engineer to take the iButton off and collect the last lot of results. So I think, I hope that's probably answered all of the points, and that is it for this tutorial. Thank you very much.